All right. Happy Friday. What's up, everybody? Take a minute. Let's get some of you in here. I know some of you are out there because you've texted me this morning asking me where I was. That's loud. How's everybody doing? It is Friday, and it is time for your HMG weekly wrap up. And I'm excited because it's September, and the weather's getting nicer, at least out in the upper northeast of the United States. Where's everybody at? I'm going to take another minute here, see if anybody jumps on, and then we will get started. A lot to cover today, and I'll be surprised if we can. Honestly, be surprised if we get some people on because it appears that we've been shadow banned a little bit. So that, and I know that there's a delay. All right, let's get started. How's everybody doing? Busy week this week. Hope everybody had a good week. We are now in September, and September is National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. So make sure you guys do buddy checks, and I'm gonna be bringing this up all month long. Every Friday, I'm gonna be bringing this up. This is a reminder every week that we need to be checking on our battle buddies and whatnot. So make sure you guys do your buddy checks. September, National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. All right. Let me see here. Big thing that came out this week. Abandon. Abandon is a documentary exposing the abusive discharge practices of injured active duty service members by the Department of Defense. If you guys are watching this, or when you guys watch this, share this, because this is super important. Needs to get out there, and it needs to get out quickly. In fact, I'm gonna try to post a link right now to it. This was the official trailer came out. What was it? I think on the 30th. It was on the 30th, and this is actually going to be. The documentary comes out in 2023, and I'll go more into it because I actually interview the executive producer of this documentary. So I'll bring that up here in just in a few minutes because it's one of the shows that we're going to talk about today. But Abandon, and I just posted the link of the trailer. The official trailer went live on August 30th, and again, it's exposing abusive discharge practices of injured active duty service members by the Department of Defense. This documentary traveled around the country. It spoke with the casualties of the abusive discharge practices. It spoke with journalists that were familiar with what was going on. It also sat down with confidential informants inside of the DoD, and it all comes out on this film. So, and some of the things that they dive into is why the DoD is doing it, how the DoD is doing it, and what the DoD is doing to individuals who speak up about it. So it's very interesting. Check it out. Give me your thoughts on it, and we'll go from there. So that's Abandoned. Next up, do you guys see in the news, and I know some of you that watch this usually later on because it's super early out on the West Coast right now, but what are your guys' thoughts on Californians asked not to charge their electric vehicles? Kind of blew my mind away because it was like this happened shortly after California came out and like has banned all like gas powered vehicles in what, like 2025 or something like that, 2020, 30, something like that. And there's a huge, like, plugging in your electric vehicle. I don't have an electric vehicle, and I'll get into that here in just a second, but I want to know your guys' thoughts. I'd be pissed. I'd be pissed. Do I think electric vehicles are good? I personally, no, I know. Do I? But do I? As far as like the environment and stuff like that, I think you're using more energy getting the batteries and stuff out. But do I believe in solar and wind and stuff like that? To an extent, I do, and maybe we'll do another show on that this month. In fact, I'm going to write that down. We're going to do that because there's some good topics there, and I got some stuff later this month with some interviews that are coming out about the environment and whatnot. I think there's a way to do both. We're not doing it correctly, in my opinion, but there is a way for both of them to be out there. So, yeah. But I want to know, what are your guys' thoughts? Anybody that's watching this, if you're out in California, what are your thoughts on that? If you have an electric vehicle, what are your thoughts on it? Kind of curious to what you guys say. All right, let me see here. We're not events coming up this month. Don't forget, September 9th, Clarksville, the Spartan Pledge is going to be out in I thought I had my little flyer up here, and my computer reset yesterday, so I don't have my thing up. All right, I'll get that out to you. So September 9th, Clarksville, Tennessee. We'll be doing the Spartan Pledge. Also on September 10th, Murray County, which is also out in Tennessee, the Holistic Trauma Recovery Suicide Prevention Fair is going on September 10th. Make sure you check that out. Let me see here. September 23rd, Tampa, Florida. You have the All Heroes Welcome Ball with our friends over at Team Auto. And then September 24th, you have the All Heroes Open down in Tampa, Florida. A big fishing tournament that our friends over at Team Auto put on as well. So, what else is happening here? That's what we got for events. Andrew, good morning. Thank you for jumping on. I thought I was alone here for a while. Actually, I was alone here for a while. And I appreciate you sharing this because I know you will. So thank you. Hats. I got to bring up the hats. We're going to do a hat giveaway. You can get your own official HMG hat. Email hats@hmgbeverage.com. Get your own hat. And let's give away a hat. What should we do this month? Let's give away a hat this month. What do you guys think we should do to do a hat giveaway? So stay tuned for that. You're going to have to come back out, tag some friends. That'll put you in the running. I don't know. We'll figure something out, but we're going to do a hat giveaway this month. We're also hiring. We hired a gentleman about a week or two ago. We're excited about that. I got a couple more people that we're looking to fill. If you got any experience in social media, as well as like an executive assistant, those are a couple positions that we're going to be interviewing for here this month. So send us your resume. You can send it to info@heroesmediagroup.com. All right. What do we have here? Murfreesboro is a Purple Heart city. Oh, that's interesting. All right, thank you, Andrew, for that interesting tidbit of information. Hey, listen, before we get into the shows, I want you guys to know out there that if you got events coming up this month, let us know about it. DM here on Facebook, or you can email us at info@heroesmediagroup.com. Let us know what you got coming up, and we'll bring it up here on the show. All right. Let me see here. All right. Hey, we got a new show coming out this month. We've been talking about it for on and off for about 18 months. They are in the can. They're ready to go. It's going to be great. It's a new show called Fight in the Shade from our friends over at Arc of Justice. So stay tuned for that. I believe their first show is coming out sometime like the week of September 11th. So make sure you check that out. Stay tuned for that. New show coming up, Fight in the Shade. All right. First up in the queue this week, I brought back the Decision Hour podcast. I got a lot of shows, interviews lined up with this. I took a hiatus, you guys know, followed me for years, that I usually take a hiatus for a while on my show, The Decision Hour. So on this week's episode, I sit down with Nick Gray, who's the CEO of Uninformed Services, Justice, and Advocacy Group, or USJAG. He's also the executive producer of Abandon, which I was talking about a little bit at the beginning of the show. So sit back and enjoy this episode, because it's a chilling interview with Nick as he dives deep into this documentary that's coming out in 2023. Again, the official trailer went out August 30th, and it talks about the abusive practices of injured active duty service members by the DoD, and they discuss how the film kind of came to light and why it's important to bring it out into the public's view now. It also they talk about what's happening with people that are talking about it. So very interesting interview. So make sure you check it out. That's this week's The Decision Hour. Andrew, what do we got here on the 9th? Clarkville, Julia, feed the veterans on 9/11 and Mount Mora. Okay, Andrew, thanks for that information, brother. Appreciate it. Always appreciate you jumping on. All right, what do we got next? The Arms Room, every Monday, 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. They have a new episode that comes out. This week, they're discussing one gun versus task-specific guns and what's the best choice. Interesting. Check it out. That's the Arms Room. Next up, we got Because Bikers Matter podcast. Our man David is he's on the road, and he does a live video from Lake Mead, which is about, those of you that don't know, Lake Mead is on the border of Arizona and Nevada. It's about 100 miles out just south of Las Vegas, and it was pretty cool. It's a man-made lake built sometime between 1935 and 42. Don't quote me on the years. But and the lake's down a lot right now. So check that out. It's a really cool video that he does when he's on the road. Because Bikers Matter podcast. All right. Next up, we got Pushing Back Chaos. This one's a little emotional, I would say. And eye-opening. This week's topic is recovering from mistakes, right? So this week, the guys sit down, they discuss the difficulty and the challenges that we face when we try to right a wrong, right? They discuss the times they each made catastrophic mistakes that didn't just cause them pain, but it hurt a lot of people around them. And with some of these mistakes came great shame and disappointment in themselves. They talk a great deal about the crucible they had to endure to get back to the right path of righting that wrong, and most importantly, easing some of the pain they have cultivated in their mistakes towards other people. It's really kind of It was very, very eye opening, and some parts were quite honestly kind of hard to listen to. Sparked some of the things um, within, but also gave me a whole newfound respect of all three of these gentlemen who are in different parts of the world, and they come together each week to put this show on, and they really open up and they talk about some like very, very personal stuff and things that they've gone through, and it was really cool, and you learn how they overcame it and where they're at now. Yeah, so check that out. That's this week's Pushing Back Chaos. Next up, we got the Power of Investing in People podcast with our gal Shay Sparks. This week is What is Your Why, How, and What with Dan Dominguez. Dan is a Army Ranger. And it's a pretty cool episode because Dan's why is to contribute. That means he exists to positively impact the lives of others. How he does it is by challenging the status quo and looking at things from, a fresh perspective, helping others see things differently. Ultimately, what you can count on from Dan is his unique ability to make sense of complex and challenging to help others move forward faster. He loves to connect with people. He makes a difference, and that's why he does this every day in his role as the Chief Growth Officer at Y Institute. This is a really cool episode. Check it out. The Power of Investing in People podcast. Next up, we got Oscar Mike Radio with our man Travis. This one here, Fear, Part 1. Not a lion, not even a sheep. This one here was a really cool interview. Oscar Mike Radio does their shows live on Facebook every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And I just happened to catch part of this show last night, and I listened to the rest of it this morning, or watched the rest of it this morning. Sean Carnell is a Marine Corps veteran. Shares a story about a trip that he and some other veterans were promised by Sean Whalen, who is the founder of Lions Not Sheep. You guys see that stuff all over internet. But he never came through on it. And in 2016, Sean said, enough is enough. Others may not follow through on what they say, but he was going to. And now Fear is underway. What does Fear mean? It's an acronym. You're going to have to watch the show to find out. But this was a really, really cool interview. And it calls out some people on it. And it was, I like that. I like when, some people don't get held accountable for it. And this was one of those where no holds bar, threw it out there, all out, and mad respect for him. So it was pretty cool. Check that out. That's this week's Oscar Mike Radio. Next up, we got the Baldy Reports. Just facts, no fiction. This week, Biden's Great Divide. Remember, this show they hit both sides of the aisle. This week, in quotes, because we also hear the argument that our president can't control the gas prices, but then we're helping out another country. But then on that same note, he's not doing anything to increase energy and production here in the United States. Again, just facts, no fiction. I think you guys really like this show. And I really think this show kind of reminds me of the old show Crossfire, when you had people from both sides of the aisle sit down and going kind of back and forth. This is a good show. And if you're like into politics or you're paying attention to what's going on, this is definitely a show you want to follow. Make sure you check out Ubaldi Reports. They do several shows, short video shows throughout the week, and you can find them on their social media. Remember, folks, we're being shadow banned here, so I need you guys to click, share, save, leave a comment. Let me know what your guys' favorite episode was this week. All right. Next up, we got License for Love. Hey, they're recapping everything, all their episodes from August. So that's this week's stuff. They got some new stuff coming out next week. So check it out, License for Love. Next, we got your 6 at 6 with the People's Patriot Project every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. You know where to find them, right here on the old Facebook. You can go to the People's Patriot Project and check out their show Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. They do some great, they got some great interviews and great guests that come on every week. So that was pretty cool. Oh, next one, we got Environmentally Speaking. We're talking food waste this week. This was a really neat episode. This week, Marissa was gone, so it was just Clarice, and she brought on a guest, Leo Pollock. How many times have you opened up your refrigerator and found some food stuffed in there, in the back that you'd forgot about? Most of us has done this at one point or another. So we throw it in the trash. How many of you go to your refrigerator and find stuff that's got mold and stuff, and then you just you know what, I got to throw it in the trash? And do you feel a little guilty that you wasted some food? Well, on this episode with special guest Leo Pollock, he's going to educate you on food waste. First things first, what is food waste? What's the different types of food waste? What types of gases does food waste produce? These are just a few of the questions that they talk about, but then he educates you on the benefits of composting and how it's being used in urban areas. Here's something else to think about. Taking food waste to power a car or a vehicle, or using food waste as a natural fertilizer for farms. I think it needs to happen, and it's starting to. I don't think it's something that we get educated enough as a society. Does anybody compost right now? If you do, leave a comment below. I'd be interested in hearing what you have to say on it. But there's a lot of food waste food that goes to waste. So you get these big restaurants and stuff like that. So this was just a very interesting topic and very educational in the sense of what we can be doing at home to reduce food waste. So check it out. That's this week's Environmentally Speaking. Next up, we got Season 2 is on its way. stands for Women's Expressions on Leadership, Learning, and Liberty. Season 2 kicks off with Nina Lorene Herman, U.S. Army veteran, full-time RVer. That's pretty cool. Licensed massage therapist, certified personal trainer, and about a dozen other certificates that I'm not going to read off. She feels her purpose in life is as a healer, a massager, empowering others to connect more fully to themselves, our Creator, and others, as well as all have the ability to heal ourselves. This is a really cool interview because it talks about some of the things that she went through, what she was going through, and how she healed herself. And that goes from getting out of the military, starting something, wasn't going somewhere, so did a career change only to find herself back to where her passion really lies. So that was a really neat episode. Check it out. That's this week's All right, next up, we got Time to Shine Today. 2 great episodes for you this week. First one, interviewing with the best-selling author and The Sound of Wings, Susan Simonetti. I'm going to butcher this. Susan Simonetti. That's what I wanted to say. Susan Simonetti. I practiced that beforehand, too. The next episode was an interview with founder of Influence People, Brian Ahearn. Awesome interviews. If you have not watched Time to Shine Today with our man Scott Ferguson, you really should. He does a lot of cool interviews with a whole bunch of coaches and authors and whatnot. So check it out. And he usually does like 2 or 3 episodes a week. So a bunch of content there. Make sure you check it out. Next up, we have the Label Free Podcast. This week's topic, we lift and shift, bringing veterans to STEM. This week's special guest, Tom Smoot. Try not to be misled by Tom's new career path in engineering. There's a good reason behind our founder's motivation to support the troops. Engineering came along only after his departure from the U.S. Army, ending 12 years of his service with the diagnosis of PTSD. Guy shares his story and what he's doing for the veteran community today. So still serving even after the uniform. Great episode. That's this week's Label Free Podcast. All right, we got some honorable mentions. Rise Up Life on Fire from our friends over at Battle to Be nonprofit organization. Yesterday, they started up their ferryman mission where they are stopping in Colorado to be in a film about PTSD. So they are there in Colorado now, being a part of it. So check that out. Follow them, Battle to Be. The Live Free series, check it out. God's Good Table, the Carry On podcast, Wake Up with Patty Catter, and of course our friends over at Military Child Education Coalition, the MSEC podcast. So that's what we've had. Got to give a shout out to our sponsors, Simper Savage, HMG Beverage, our sister company. My Tax Fella, nobody better in the business. You guys need taxes, your taxes done, or bookkeeping. There literally is nobody better in the business than these guys. JB Auto Clothiers, check it out. You can find all these people on social media. So we're gonna do a hat giveaway this week or this month. Stay tuned for that. If you would like a hat, they're $25. Email hats@hmgbeverage.com or DM us here. It's Friday. Let's have a great week. End. It's Labor Day weekend. Just realize that. Labor Day weekend. Monday's off for a lot of people. So what's everybody going to be doing this weekend? Hope you guys have a great weekend. Be safe, and I'll see you guys. God bless you. God bless America, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care.